Okay, I'm recording this video before the open on Wednesday, the 17th of November 2010, and I got a rather large number of emails questioning the reasoning for taking my first trade yesterday, which was a short trade. So I thought it'd be probably pretty helpful just to recap that and just show you the thinking and the reasoning for taking that particular trade. To illustrate, to show that trade, this is the 1500 tip bar chart, which is my main time frame for determining where to make my entries and exits. I kind of fine-tune the entries and exits using the 500 tip bar chart, and I look at the 4500 tip bar chart to make sure I'm kind of trading in the direction of the trend. But here's the 1500 tip bar chart. Now, 2/3 of the time the market will spend the first 20-30 minutes deciding which direction it's going to break. If we're going to have a trend day, we usually spend some time figuring out which direction that trend is going to be. Maybe 20-30% of the time the market makes up that decision really quickly within the first 5 or 10 minutes and just starts heading in one particular direction, and you have a really strong kind of range trending day in those instances. But the majority of the time the market is trying to figure out which direction to trade, and so what I use is my professional blue bars on Better Pro-Am to signal what the kind of the range is of where these the professionals are willing to kind of range trade that a trend move is going to break from. And so let's use Tuesday as an example. This is the open of trade. This is using this red vertical dotted line, just show the 8:30 open Chicago time. And you can see the first blue professional bar that we have kind of comes in at the lows here at about 1184, and that kind of signals where the bottom of the range, where the professionals are willing to kind of start to buy the market is. And then we kind of rally. In this case we rally quite strongly, and I mentioned in yesterday's trade this is a classic icebreaker trade where we kind of trade off that reversal and enter on the break of the high above that professional bar. I missed it yesterday because I didn't have enough confirmation, but it ended up being good for 2+ kind of points. The next time we see the professionals kind of coming in, I'll just widen up these bars a little bit, you can see here the professionals up at 89, almost 90 here, and that's the top of the range. So the professionals have shown me what that opening range is likely to be for the market, and then we're going to bat backwards and forwards before there, and the breaks of those highs and lows are really going to show me where the trending move is going to take place. Now, it's also nice that usually on the 1500 tip bar chart, the kind of the support and resistance lines help identify what that range is. And you can see on this particular day, a little bit early in terms of the support level here, but we knew we were at some kind of cyclical support level here. The high here, again, a fraction early on the 1500 tip bar chart, granted, but it still showed you, we're reaching some kind of extreme in terms of cycles and oscillations and so on. The bottom, we retest down here, nice signal on better sine wave showing you what the support level is here, and again the professionals come back in and show you where that support level is, and then we come back to test again up here at the highs. Here are the professionals again, so they've shown you, the highs and the lows of this particular range. And my best trading happens when I'm taking 2 or 3 points out of this kind of range trading activity, in and out, done in 45 minutes ideally with 4 points, bang, take the minimum of kind of risk on heat on trades, I'm out. But then the market starts to determine what the range is for the day, and we start to really kind of break into, in this case this was a downtrending day. The news came out about Ireland, and that kind of came in two kind of shock waves. This one was the first one where we broke this 84 level, and then when we broke 80 again, this was a second shock. But let's talk about this kind of ranging activity at the beginning of the day. So the 1500 tip bar chart, this icebreaker trade kind of helps you figure out where that pattern, that high and low, is likely to be. The second series of professional bars will show you that kind of ranging activity. So this is the trade that I took. It was a break short at this point here, missed the icebreaker trade but got in short for a nice, I think it was a 3-point trade on the downside here. And for me, this is my kind of trifecta. I've got my 3 non-correlated indicators all going off together. I know we've got a cyclical turning point happening at this point because we've got better sine waves signaling a top here. We have a professional blue bar going up at the highs. Those are professionals exiting their long positions and getting in short. And plus we have a bearish divergence signal on better momentum, showing that we've got less and less buying momentum at this point, and then the market reverses. So it's quite simple there in terms of that setup. You've got the three things going on together, and remember, for me, they're non-correlated indicators. They're measuring totally different things. They're measuring price alone, the average trade size, and the volume traded at the bid and the ask. So three non-correlated measures of the market, and when they line up together and when they start to line up on different time frames, that gives me a high probability trade. So that was the short trade that I took. But remember, this kind of ranging activity that you can see at the beginning of the day happens, the majority of the days are like this, and that's kind of, I like that activity where I'm kind of in and out for 2 or 3 points kind of before a trend move kind of develops, and then hopefully if you can get on board the trend move, then you're likely to see kind of 4+ type moves. Now let's just back it down to the 4500 tip bar chart and see what was going on here. So this is the highest time frame chart, and this is my trend direction time frame. Just widen this up a little bit. So at the beginning of the day, you can see again we had a professional down blue bar signaling that kind of potential low at 84 where the professionals are willing to come back in. Now the day before, on the Monday, we'd had a break below cyclical low here, so I was in a downtrend at this point, and we kind of expect some kind of bounce at some point to form a pullback in a downtrend will be the next kind of cyclical level that happens. And so this is the move. We come into the cyclical turning point. It printed a little bit late in terms of the cyclical activity, but this was a bounce coming into that. Because we were still in a downtrend, the momentum for the day, particularly kind of the first bit of the day, we've still got to resolve this downtrend. We still have to find our kind of bottom, our end of trend warning signal, our kind of cyclical activity, finding that bottom before a change in trend is going to take place. So the high probability trade is going to be a short trade because we're still in a downtrend when it comes to the 4500 tip bar chart. And so that was the little move that we kind of played off here. And then you can see on this time frame, first of all, we kind of lurched below the 84 level down to 82 here with professionals here, and this is kind of professionals. This is falling through the ice. This is professional shorting, and this is a real kind of professional. This is when the Irish news kind of came out, falling through the ice, professionals shorting that support level, and then the market kind of continues to the downside. So we knew we were in a downtrend at this point here, so the high probability trade was to kind of go short at that point. And then let's kind of look at the entry specifically on the 500 tip bar chart. So again, same time frame, same kind of entry point. This is the beginning of trade on the Tuesday, the 8:30 point. Coming into this low, you can see all these blue professional bars buying this low, a rainbow pattern right at the bottom here. TradeStation just tends to print because the market's kind of moving quickly. Rainbow pattern. It's actually printing based on that amateur bar there, but it's just a little quirk of TradeStation that it sometimes positions this incorrectly because of kind of fast-moving markets and real-time trading and so on, real-time charts. But we've had our exhaustion selling on the downside. It's some kind of cyclical support because we've broken through cyclical support at this point. Rainbow pattern. We bounce from here, and then we're coming up, and the same kind of three things going on. We pushed past our cyclical turning level here, so this is an overshoot. The professionals have come in at these highs at 89, kind of selling here, and then we get bearish divergence at this point. And again, this is one of these bearish divergence signals that are very close to the zero line. And it's when those three things are happening at the same time that's kind of your high probability trade. Yes, it would have been nice if the cyclical turning level had printed right at the top there. It often does, but we knew we were kind of overbought at that time. And then the professionals come in, very little buying going on, and the market reverses to the downside. And you can see the next time we kind of go into this 84, 85 level and find support, we're finding support here with an end of trend warning signal and a flush signal here. And coming into this move, into these lows at 84, 85, you can see the professionals kind of coming back in, and then we kind of bounce to the upside again, testing this high at this point, and so on. So that was the reasoning for that short trade at this point here. And again, going back to the 1500 tip bar chart, these professional blue bars are really early on in the day, just showing where the kind of the ranges are that the professionals are kind of buying and selling for that kind of range trading before the trend move is kind of determined for the rest of the day. So there we go. Hope that video was helpful to you.